When many of us hear of absinthe, we think of the Parisian cafes frequented by groundbreaking artists like Van Gogh, Degas, and Manet, or the mysterious psychosis said to be caused by the green fairy. Regardless, absinthe has always been a drink shrouded in veiled curiosity and controversy. Joining us to weigh in and break it all down for us is the famed cocktail historian and mixologist, Tony Abugana. Tony, welcome.
Hi, Heidi.
Absinthe, first of all, when we hear of that, one thing that comes to mind is illegal.
Well, yeah, I believe, the legacy of absinthe is this mysterious, mind-altering, addictive drink that really got a bad rap. It became a villain, if you will, and absinthe at that time weighed in at about 120 to 140 proof. So
it's a pretty hefty drink.
It was a pretty hefty drink.
Absinthe was certainly popular in the 1800s in cafes in Paris for artisans. It was just a very common drink to have because a lot of people felt at the time it would heighten your creativity. Is that fact or fiction?
I think there's some fact to that. Absinthe contains different herbs, and these herbs are both stimulants and depressants. So if you look at some of the paintings of that time, of that era, when you look at the models' faces and they have this kind of long way drawn out look on their face, you kind of get into this loosened state of inebriation when you drink a fair amount of absinthe. So I think there is probably something there, but as far as the hallucinogenics go, it's been proven that Thurgeon is not a hallucinogenic. So
okay. Well, one of the great artisans of the time that reportedly was a big fan of absinthe was Vincent van Gogh, and of course the notorious self-mutilation that a lot of people link to absinthe. Do we have any kind of clear line that was actually kind of led to his cutting off of his ear?
Well, I don't know if it led to it or not. I mean, Van Gogh had a history in his family of mental illness, and he himself was probably suffering from mental illness. He also suffered from syphilis, and at that time there was really no treatment for syphilis. So he was a habitual absinthe consumer. He did imbibe on absinthe quite a bit, but whether or not that drove him on that Christmas Eve in 1888 to cut off the lobe of his ear and present it to the keeper of a brothel for safekeeping is hard to say. But
there's a gray area there.
It's a gray area. It's a great story, though.
We touched on what comes to mind for a lot of folks, which is the illegality of absinthe. However, in the United States, within the last year, it is now legal to be brought in versus the old days when some folks would go across to Europe and smuggle it in.
Right. It is, thank goodness, available again in the United States legally, and it does contain the Grand Wormwood, which has the Thurgeon, and it's fabulous, especially for someone like myself who is a mixologist, to be able to have real absinthe to work with again in cocktails, because there are great cocktails that include absinthe, and up to this point we've had to use absinthe substitutes to make those. So
it's one thing to talk about it, but let's get to the fun part and show everybody how to make it. We have actually a representative from Kubler Distillery here from Switzerland. She's not from Switzerland, but the distillery is. Patricia Vasconcelos.
Hi.
Welcome, first of all.
Thank you.
And we're going to start out with a little bit of the traditional way to use absinthe, correct?
Right.
Okay.
The Kubler Distillery is found in Val de Travers, Switzerland, and there's many rituals that come with absinthe, and one of them is this absinthe fountain. It is the traditional way to consume absinthe, and essentially all this is water and ice in the fountain. There's a little bit of absinthe in the glass. It's about and it's about an ounce, and there is a slotted spoon over the glass and a sugar cube. And this is kind of the fun part. It's sexy, it's table theater, if you will. And all we do is kind of open up the spout, and it slowly drips water over the sugar cube, and it essentially turns the water cloudy. It's called a louche. And all that is a chemical effect when the water hits anise. And it's milky white. And then you essentially just wait till the sugar cube dissolves.
And this is what they did in the 1800s.
Mm-hmm. And actually, Kubler, out of all the absinthes on the market, is the one absinthe that Van Gogh and Manet could be drinking, because our recipe has been around since 1863. So it's authentic and it's as traditional as it gets.
Well, let's talk about that in terms of a cocktail. That's what you're going to show us, Tony, correct?
Well, we're going to do this together,
okay,
Heidi. But yeah, like I mentioned earlier, the fact that we now have legal absinthe, it brings back all these wonderful lost and forgotten classic cocktails. And one of them is one of my favorites. We offer it at our restaurant, Bar Milano. It's called the Corpse Survivor Number 2.
Number 2.
Number 2.
I won't ask why number 1's not on the table, but Corpse Reviver.
Corpse Reviver.
Okay.
And I'll talk a little more about that, but I'm going to have you get started. Have you used one of these?
I think I know my way around a lemon squeezer.
All right.
Just squeeze this into the glass.
Squeeze. We're going to use a ½ an ounce of lemon juice for each of the 3 drinks. Okay. The Corpse Reviver dated back to Harry Craddock's time, and Harry Craddock wrote the Savoy cocktail book in 1930. And he said that it was a kind of a pick-me-up. After a hard night of drinking, you would take a Corpse Reviver before 11, or whenever steam and energy was needed.
Like our version of Bloody Marys after a hard night out.
Yeah.
Essentially.
So this is a fabulous drink that I just love. So we're going to get about 1.5 ounces fresh lemon juice in there.
Okay.
We're going to add a little bit of our Lillet.
Okay.
It's pretty much equal parts of Lillet, of Cointreau. And then we're going to use gin, and in this case, we're going to use some Right gin, which bring beautiful botanical notes to the drink.
Okay.
All right.
Equal amounts of each of what you're putting in here.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll just finish that up with our Kubler absinthe. Okay. And just a little bit less of that, because...
Is there a reason that you did it in the order you did it, or should we just always end with the absinthe?
Well, it's always good to end with the absinthe.
Why did I even ask this question? Dumb question.
Well, we always start with our sweet and sour elements first.
Okay.
And we just, isn't that a fabulous sound?
Goes back to the old bartending days, doesn't it, Tony?
Comes right back to me.
Right.
And then we're just going to strain that into our chilled cocktail glasses.
Okay.
One for you, one for Patricia, and not to be left out, a nice big one for me.
Nice. I'm ineligible to try it, but I'll let you guys try it. Certainly, you can even just, we talked about this before, the black licorice smell or the anise smell is very pervasive.
Yeah, that comes out right through all the other ingredients, but...
Well, we'll let you guys
cheers to you.
Salute each other, and I will let you guys know who are watching us right now that you can find the ingredients and find out how to make this on our website. Go to our website, which is abcnewsnow.com. We hear the mms in the background, so we know this was mixed well. Click on the GMA Now link, and you can find out as well how to make this exact cocktail. Remember, Corpse Reviver number 2.
Number 2.
Number 1 comes later. I'm Heidi Jones, and you're watching Good Morning America Now.